For me, why I miss WSU is just missing my friends and teammates, just like missing the social atmosphere because it just feels weird to not have like as much social interaction now. Another one is that I just miss movement science because I'm always at movements at Woodward Center. So it's just like missing the professors because I go to the office hours all the time. So it's just like feels weird to not be able to interact with my professors. So I just miss that.
There's a couple things I like miss like that stick out the most to me. And I think one of them is just the physical activity of having to walk from class to class, or like just my everyday walking, because when you're at home you don't really have that. It doesn't fit into your routine, because like I'm only really walking around my house instead of walking from building to building, or just walking through the grocery stores, or when I'm running errands. Like I think just the physical movement every single day, all day, is something I miss the most. And um besides like missing my friends and everything, and then also just in class, just sitting in class, like being able to talk to my teachers and discussing problems that I don't really understand, or just communicating with my peers, and just studying with a group of people instead of teaching myself. Last year we were at Springfield, and my memories of Snapchat just came up, and from when we were there. And one, we got that really good place that we get after we go to Springfield, and that's like amazing. So my lunch from that day popped up, and that was so good, so yummy. But then one of the other memories was when our boxed lunches, we had the huge, like a gallon thing of peanut butter, and it had to be mixed.
Oh my gosh.
But I like dared Jill to dip her bread into it, and like it was just like the entire team was like around it, and we were just like laughing, and it was such a good laugh. And that was definitely that, like, just like I was just like laughing watching it, and Anna's like in the background, she's like, oh, and then Cora's around and she's like, oh, and then you can hear everyone else just going, ew, what is that? And Jill's like holding like her piece of bread up with like peanut butter oil. So I think I definitely miss the in between the games, like, because obviously playing is fun, but what we have off the field, the connection we have with the team, is just like so fun because we were all laughing and having a good time.
Wait, what is it?
Just wait.
Oh my god. Oh.
Why does it look like a paint?
So should I just dip it in?
Dude, dip it.
That's so smart.
Just dip it, just dip it.
No, dip it the other way. Why? Dip it the other way.
Just dip it.
My favorite memory is from the Worcester State one. It was my freshman year going into sophomore year. And Coach, you might remember this, but this was like my peak moment, I think, when I got the ball and I just lasered it into the goal. Like, I have the video on my phone you got like footage, I think Maddie was like shooting it or something, and I still watch it because it's just like, boom, just a laser. That's my favorite. And I remember I was like, oh my gosh, I just did that. I just got that goal. That's my favorite.
I think for me, my favorite was I think it was freshman or sophomore year going to Worcester State. No, it has to be freshman year going to Worcester State. I felt like I scored more goals than I ever did than a regular season. So it was very interesting, I thought. But I definitely will say that was like one of my favorites. And then last season wasn't the best play day for me, especially I got hurt. So I remember having hand issues, now still have that, but at least it's better. I'll have that now, but I have to wear gloves now.
Because Abby had said like just like scoring more goals, I feel like it's just I played club like in high school, so, and that was one of like, I almost loved the concept of club playing it because it's so fast paced. It's short fields and it's like it's just very fast, and playing club or playing tournament with this team is just so fun. It's just a fun way to play the game instead of it being like a 70-minute game. It's just a quick 15 or 20-minute game, which is always so fun.
Play days, I see more of like my town my old teammates from Long Meadow, so it's like interesting to see like everyone like hear what their training style. So I don't know about like Jill Marina if they have like your old teammates from like other teams are at the play day. So it's just fun to see like other old teammates playing.
I dance like a maniac before every game. That's just how I get warmed up. I dance. I have to, and I don't care who's staring at me. Something I have to get out.
I think for me is I need to have my hair done in a certain way. I'm very like superstitious about that. And for warm up lap, I have to run with the same person. So when we do like the 2 laps or 1 lap around the field before we stretch.
I definitely have to have like a lot of time to prepare for a game. And that's why I just love home games, because I can go to Woodward so much, like a lot earlier than like if we were going to an away game. Like it's just I'm able to go into ATs and take my time warming up and heating and rolling, and then I get to hang out with the team, listen to music, just hang out and get pumped with everyone. Just getting my hair braided with no rush, just having like the no rush sensation is just so much nicer, and just definitely gets me even more hyped than being rushed. On a Zoom call the other day, and we were just discussing the book kind of, and ideas that girls had come up with, and we did talk about player of practice or player of game. And just last year we kind of used it as just like a positive thing, giving it to someone who did well and who really stood out during practice. And then the girls had also said for this year they really want to encourage using the the hard cap book. What's the title of it?
A hard hat.
Hard hat. Um, and just taking what we've learned from the reading and specifically making our own guidelines for what we want to see every day from practice, and specifically who stands out.
Actually, like playing internationally was just like it just puts a whole perspective. Like learning like another tips from a different coach is always like good because you can like learn from it too. And then another thing is that I agree, like keeping it, sometimes we overthink it, so we need to keep it simple. So like I know I overthink everything, so that's why I think having 3 things for each quarter or like 3 goals for a practice will just help the team keep it like simple and just like make sure it's straight to the point.
Like Abby said, I like how we had like a different perspective on it. Oh my god. I like how we had the different perspective from another person. And I thought, I don't know, when he was putting up the videos of Ireland playing, I was like so amazed at like how it looked. Like it just looked so smooth, and it looked honestly simple, but the way, it's also hard, but it just looked so simple because it was just so graceful in a way.
The one thing that really stuck out to me was when we were talking about just overall defense, and then he had asked the team who plays defense, and everyone was like kind of hesitant of like, wait, I play, like I'm specifically on the roster, it says that I play defense, but then like the forwards or someone were like, Shannon had said, shouldn't we all be raising our hand because we all play defense? And I think it was really nice to just hear that from another coach, because we talk about it at practice, but not everyone's like, oh yeah, like we all play defense, like I get it, but no one's like, we actually all play defense. And hearing it from another coach is just, it just emphasizes the whole point of what it actually means. And another team is also using that outlook of who plays defense. And I think the team really were just kind of like, oh yeah, we all play defense. Defense doesn't happen at the end of the field near our goal. It also happens in the midfield. It happens up on our offensive side. And just the way that he also presented that and just presented a very simple to the point presentation and looked for simple words and simple answers instead of complex answers.
Hearing their style of play in like Ireland, like how like international players have their like they're trained so different than what Americans do. So it's just like very interesting to see like what they do versus what we do.
I think after having the talk with Mick, I feel like I learned so much about my teammates, and how actually knowledgeable we all are on the subject and with the sport, and how we could really like turn that into something great this season. And I think if we all almost think in the simplest way, like Mick was trying to say, like just think simple. I think adding that just to everyone and not keeping it so complex is going to help us in the fall.
What I really am curious about is how our small group projects and assignments are going to go next week, and like what it all consists of and how it's going to help us. We were put in groups that maybe we wouldn't pick on our own, but it's just nice because now we're obviously so close, and I'm excited for my group because I don't always get to work with them. So it's so nice to be able to hang out with them even on Zoom just for 20 minutes or so for the next couple of weeks, and just really getting to know their perspective on things and what we talk about in our assignments.
I feel like yesterday, like when we were having the bar class, like having like my other teammates on like Zoom, it like pushed me to be like push myself to do better, and because especially like when we're at like practices, we push each other's. So I feel like there were some days I've been like not as motivated. So I feel like they motivate me to be better, and I know like other teammates would feel that way too.